I'm Doc Rivers, and I'm proud to present a new podcast documentary series called It Was Said Sports, where I guide you through 6 of the most impactful and timeless speeches in sports history. Listen and follow It Was Said Sports, a documentary podcast presentation of Shining City Audio, a C13 Originals, and John Meacham Studio. Available now on Odyssey and wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
Joe DeCamara and John Ritchie, we will get you set for the Phils and Braves. We'll hit that coming up in a few minutes. It is, of course, a big series. They are still alive, but doesn't quite feel like it, but they are. We'll set the stage for that series shortly. All right, John, Twitter poll question of the day. John Ritchie, Joe DeCamara, Ross Tucker with us as well. Twitter poll, John, brought to us by the casino at Delaware Park. Watch and wager on pro and college football at the Delaware Park Sportsbook, DelawarePark.com. Lottery agent for the Delaware Lottery. You must be 21 to play. Today's question, which was the worst last night? 3 choices, all deserving 100% of the vote, but can't work that way. Which was the worst, John? The coach, the quarterback, the defense? John, what would you vote for, John?
It is tough.
I would vote for the quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback or coach, I think is gonna be the winning answer. But boy, they were all so bad.
They were all so bad. All right, where do you think people vote?
I'm gonna say people hold it most against Nick Sirianni.
They sure do. What percentage?
42%.
64%.
Wow.
64.
Really?
Can you imagine playing as bad as the quarterback did and you only get 26% of the vote? Defense, which was one of the worst defensive performances we've seen the Eagles have in years, got only 10% of the vote.
How about that?
Now,
that's because of Javon Hargrave.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know what the other thing is, though, Ross? We just focus
All I'm
more.
saying, Joe, is can you imagine?
I
You're
know.
right. We do focus on quarterback and head coach. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you again, man, it would have been a much higher. Like, that guy is –
Yeah.
I just like what – he makes the center – he made the center and left guard for the Cowboys look real bad last night. But he's done that every game so far. I love watching him. When I'm sad and the Eagles are getting beat by a lot, I just watch Hargrave and I feel a little bit better.
Well, Ross, here's the deal. He reminds me a lot of me. 7-year-old soccer. We lost a game one time 16-1. Now you know who scored that one goal, right? I mean, obviously that's a young hammer. We lost 16-1, but the hammer made sure he.
Real fact.
Yeah, we lost
you actually remember 7-year-old
JYA, Jenkintown Youth Association. We lost 16-1.
Okay.
But the hammer makes sure he got his tally.
Hey, Ross, are you to the point where you're worried about Fletcher Cox's output, his performance? I mean, we saw that the Dallas Cowboys were doing some double teaming of Javon Hargrave, who was still making plays. I felt like Fletcher, he had the touchdown, but he was shut out otherwise, stat wise, and he was also blanked week 1. What do you make of the way he's been playing?
Well, he's a descending player. He used to be Hargrave. He's not anymore. He's not in his prime anymore. But I will say he still has the ability. How about the one play where he totally lifted up? Lifted up the left guard, drove him back 5 yards and killed him so that Dak had to scramble.
Yeah,
that's how Hargrave got his second sack.
Yeah, like almost ripped the ball out, got his hand on the ball, it looked like, and Dak spun out and then.
So, but I don't know. I got to be honest with you, John. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse because I watched that play and it's like, okay, Fletcher still has the juice.
Yeah.
He still has the physical ability.
When the effort
right.
there.
That's the part that makes me wonder a little bit. Like if you never saw the flashes, you would say, okay, he just doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
When you see the flashes and you see a play like that, you're like, okay, he's fit. It is very hard for me. Joe, John and I, we played a long time ago and we played physical positions. It's really tough to watch the Eagles front seven sticking the blocks like glue.
Yeah.
and not getting off blocks and making tackles. I mean, 8 yards a clip. I mean, this is not high school football.
Well, is this one of the worst linebacking groups in football, Russ?
I really thought they'd be better. The guy that's disappointed me the most is Eric Wilson.
That's what I figured you'd say.
They need to put T.J. Edwards in. T.J. Edwards is at least going to come up and hit you in the mouth like he did Dak that one time.
Yep.
I think to your point, Joe, about the starting lineup, I have no idea why ESPN doesn't do that, but Edwards started the game last night. Edwards was out there the first play, not Eric Wilson. It was T.J. Edwards and Singleton, and frankly, I think that's who should start. I think it should be those two guys are at least physical, and they're going to give. I mean, I haven't seen Eric Wilson really make a play yet.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Joe DeCamera, Russ Tucker, John Ritchie, 215-592-9494. To Matt in Ridley. Hey, Matt.
Fellas, what's going on today besides the obvious?
Yeah.
What's up, Matt?
Ross, good to speak to you.
Likewise.
Richie, we're going to break Joe's stones just for a moment, but I want to clarify something.
Okay. I like this start.
You better have a big sledgehammer because you got a lot to work with.
Do.
A lot to work
Friday
with. Friday
before the Atlanta game, that last Friday, for the opening game, me and you both said the first. He made a comment, and I'm going to let you clarify the comment, Joe, that the first part of the season was going to be easy. Do you remember that, Richie?
No,
not distinctly, but
okay.
I do remember thinking that he underappreciated
the general theme I was getting at, Matt. The general theme I think I said repeatedly is that the beginning of the schedule was easier than perceived because the Eagles were facing 3 teams that went 6-10 or worse last year.
Okay, so you meant the first 3 games because here's what I'm getting at. The response from Richie and myself was, no, it's not, and then Richie rattled off the first 6 games. So maybe the first.
My point the whole time was about the first 3 because we all know weeks 4 and week 6 you're facing the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. My point was 1, 2, and 3 were easier than people thought.
Okay, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but when Ross and Richie talked about this, about Fletcher, he was under the weather for the last 4 days. He barely made it to play last night. So I think that may have had a big factor in his play last night that he said he lost like a bunch of weight. He was really under the weather. So
I know.
Saying that,
people are making that point. I heard him make that point last night, but was he sick prior to week 1?
All right, Matt, appreciate the call. Let's go to Simone in Atlantic City. What's up, Simone?
How you doing, guys? Listen, I want to bring up some points that, really I don't think have been touched enough. First, Nick Sirianni says, we're going to be least penalized, we're going to be most disciplined, and we lead the league in penalties. And also, I'm sick and tired of hearing our defensive coordinator was supposed to be the greatest up-and-coming coach. I mean, on plays last night, like you guys said, they're getting 8, 9, 10 yards of play. Receivers, not multiple receivers, wide open. Why is this defensive coordinator so praised? He's horrible. And then I'm sick and tired as well. When you're down 2 scores, 13 points or less, why is it that coaches, just in general, but especially ours, of course, we have to pass?
I agree. I totally agree. Yep.
Just because you're down 13 doesn't mean that running games should be over, especially you have Miles Sanders who in one shot can score an 80-yard touchdown.
Especially when the quarterback is struggling. It made no sense. Simone, I agree with you 100%, man.
But should we stop the praise of this defensive coordinator? He's done nothing, has shown nothing, has made no adjustments. It's horrible.
Well, here's the one spot I'll disagree with you. First 2 games, they were holding teams down. I mean, I know Atlanta wasn't a great challenge, but they only scored 6 points. And the second game, San Fran, and yes, the quarterback for San Fran struggled in good stretches of that game, but it's not like San Fran racked up points.
But that was horrendous play by Jimmy Garoppolo. We just faced a good offense, and we saw what it looked like. I don't
disagree, John. I get
it. Do
it.
you think they can hold good offenses down? And that's the expectation for a good team.
I get it.
We're not a good team.
It's
We're not
too
a good
early.
defense.
It's too early.
I agree, Ross.
I mean, the guy gave up 23 points the first 2 games.
Yeah.
It's too early to be getting the pitchforks out for Jonathan Gannon.
I agree.
I mean, the first 2 weeks, they were very good on that side of the ball. Last night, he's going to have to adjust because last night. 8 yards a clip is too much running it, and then they had zone beaters, and they beat them.
All right,
Ross, don't you think it's arrogant to go into that game against the Cowboys, who they want to try to get the ball, get the running game going? Don't you think it's sort of arrogant to go into that with too deep, like for the whole first half?
No, because I think he's most worried about he clearly doesn't feel great about his corners in man-to-man coverage, and I think he didn't want Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb to have a big day and make big plays down the field. What's concerning to me is CeeDee Lamb still did make a big play on a deep post early in the game, and then the tight ends were getting him. I mean, Dalton Schultz and Jarwin, getting behind everybody, it's just not a good look. I think the thought process is you're going to win most games. You don't give up chunk plays, but they gave up both the run game and I don't know how many chunk plays they gave up last night, but they gave up a decent amount.
Yeah, Ross, I want to take you back. You made a comment 2 minutes ago. You said it's too early, and you were finishing a sentence, and I agree with you on that point. But we know it's not too early for all of us to be annoyed at Derek Barnett. And I want to find out, Ross, from you, if you are the head coach, I'm putting you in charge of the Philadelphia Eagles. You are the head coach of Nick Sirianni, and you are the general manager. You are the defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon. What are you doing the next time you see Derek Barnett? What are you doing to address the situation? And I mean, you know what I mean when I say the situation. The repeated stupid stuff that he does. What are you doing if you're the head coach?
Well, number one, I am telling Howie Roseman that I'm fine if that guy leaves in free agency after the year, and that they did the right thing by signing Sweat. Number two, they're in a really bad spot now because Brandon Graham's hurt and Kerrigan hasn't done anything. So if Brandon Graham was still there and Kerrigan was doing things, I would sit Barnett for a while after the next time he does it. I'd be like, listen, Derek, I appreciate the effort. You play hard, but I just can't have the stupid stuff every game. I mean, that one against the Niners, I'm still bothered by that, Joe.
Yeah.
First of all, it would have made it a 14-11 game. He handed the Niners a field goal. Second of all, I told everybody to take the Eagles plus 3.5. So they would have lost by 3 instead of 6. And that would have made a big difference to a lot of people that I know, a lot of my buddies. So anyway, but now it's like if you bench Derek Barnett, who are you putting in there?
I know.
Teron Jackson? I mean, they're in a bad spot now. You know what they should do? They should still bench him for a couple plays, the rest of that series or whatever, and then put him back in after that. But I think some guys, Joe, they just kind of lose their mind when they're out there.
Hey, listen.
They just kind of lose it.
Listen, there's no doubt. We've seen it with the Double Herrera as a Phillies player. You can just, whether you're smart or whether you're not smart in life, you can just be a dumb player. And some guys just play dumb. And Derek Barnett does dumb things.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm going to give you 2 examples real quick. By all accounts, Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones are really bright guys. They both do a lot of stupid things on a football field.
It's so well said, Ross.
It's true.
And now you're right. I don't disagree at all. Let's go to Frankie in Horsham. Yo, Frankie.
Hi, how are you guys today?
What's
Doing
up, Frankie?
All right, Frankie.
Good. Hey, I got an idea, okay?
Yeah.
Just why don't we take this young man, Jalen Hurts, and why don't we set him up in an RPO? Nick Foles was a master at it.
Well, they're doing a lot of that already.
They're doing
Frankie.
that.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of that. Frankie, I got an idea. I'm going to give you an idea. Here's my idea.
Okay, go ahead.
Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, and the coach calls a play where the quarterback either drops back or is in the shotgun, and he hands the ball to a running back. Yeah,
well,
and then the running back runs. That's my idea.
Right. Well, the problem is with Jalen, he's one-dimensional with his running game. He's always going to the right.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're right.
so
You're right.
But I don't have a lot of faith in our head coach either.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking the guy. I just think he's too young and inexperienced, and this is something new to him, and I think it's hurting us.
Frankie, on
Right.
that point, I agree with you, man. Appreciate the call. No, last night, Sirianni looked in over his head. Doesn't mean he definitively is. Doesn't mean it can't bounce back. Last night, Nick Sirianni definitely, to my eyes, looked in over his head.
And,
All right,
and,
go
and
ahead,
Joe, let me just say one thing.
Yes.
The head coach for the Cowboys, that's not Bill Belichick over there.
Right.
How about him,
Awful,
Joe,
awful.
not calling a timeout after the Eagles get like 3 yards? It's going to be 3rd and 24 with 1:40 left in the first half.
And a cooked Eagles defense that you could have put right back
and
there.
he has 3 timeouts, and I swear it looked to me like after 10 seconds he realized it and was like, "Oh man,
Yep.
I gotta just go with it now." I've been asking people on social media. I'm dying to know what his excuse was. I will say this though, he's got 2 good coordinators. Kellen Moore is legit as an OC, and that defense is so much better with Dan Quinn this year.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ross. I am somewhat of a chain of command person. And again, I emphasize only somewhat. I mean, because anyone around here knows that obviously the program director of WIP reports to me. So, chain of command only goes so far. But I'm telling you, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm talking to Jerry Jones and saying, I want to let you know, Jerry, I am concerned that guy, Mike McCarthy, could cost me a playoff game, could cost me a playoff win. Because the Cowboys overcame that last night because they played the Eagles and it wasn't even close. There will be close playoff games, and Mike McCarthy, I believe, is a below-average NFL head coach. John, let's get here for a moment, and James and Ross, we actually have I don't know if we call them the Fighting Phils, but they're still alive.
They're fighting.
Here are the stakes. 2.5 out, 6 games to go for the Phillies, 7 games to go for the Braves. The Braves will play that 7th game on Monday if they need to, if the division is still up for grabs. The Phils and Braves start a 3-game series tonight. It's in Atlanta. The Phillies send Zach Wheeler tonight, Aaron Nola tomorrow, Kyle Gibson on Thursday to the mound. The Braves will send out their 3 best pitchers. So the Phils obviously send 3 of their top 4. The Braves send their top 3. John Ritchie, the floor is yours. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight. I mean, Wheeler's on the mound. I feel great about this game. I feel great about Bryce. His career at Truist Park, he's got over 1,000 OPS, 1.022 OPS, 11 home runs in 33 games. I think he will get things started quickly offensively, and I always like the way things go when that happens, especially when you got Wheeler to protect it. I feel good about this one. I am very worried about Aaron Nola.
All right, let me take that on. James, won't it be so 2021 Phils for them to win the night, suck people in just a little bit more?
For sure.
And then tomorrow, James, Aaron Nola flubs it, and bye-bye, everybody.
No, let's say what's really the 21 Phillies. They're going to sweep the Braves and then lose 2 or 3 of the Marlins, lose the division. That's the 2021 Phillies.
That's a good point.
You're right.
Hey,
You're right.
Aaron Nola, here's the thing. Aaron Nola lately, it's like he goes out there and just stinks it up, yet our offense picks up the slack anyway. And we score like 8 runs in the 8th inning, and we somehow come out on top.
Yeah. Well,
so it could happen.
Joe, can I jump in here for a
please
second?
do.
I am a big-time bandwagon guy on the Phillies now.
Yep.
So if they do make the playoffs, I will really be into it. But I don't pay attention that much because they've been such a roller coaster. Can you give me like a 3? Like Nola's supposed to be good. Wheeler's supposed to be good. JT, Harper's had an awesome year. Like I don't understand why they're not
MVP,
better.
Man.
Well,
but I don't understand why they're not better. Can you
because
just tell me,
other
like,
than
in 2 sentences,
2 sentences. They have 2 great players, Bryce Harper and Zach Wheeler. They have and Ranger Suarez he's been great. And then you got Segura, who's been good. There are some injuries, Reese Hoskins, and then otherwise you mostly just fall off a cliff. I mean, you fall off a cliff.
What about JT?
He's been disappointing. He's obviously above average.
He's been up and down.
Given his contract and his reputation, he's had a disappointing season. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's certainly not. He's had a disappointing season. They needed more from JT, McCutchen, Didi, Bohm, Nola, and relievers, and they didn't get it. And that's why they are what they are right now, which is a team that within the next 2 to 4 days, we're going to find out, all right, that's it. Go home. See you next April. Let's go to Warren in the Gwinnett Valley. What's up, Warren?
Oh, thanks for taking my call, Joe and John.
Thanks for calling, Warren.
My condolences to the fans of the city. Unbelievable. When I called after the Falcons win, this is about where I saw us here now with the injuries and the adversity. And you were a little bit perplexed, and I guess people were too excited to really see what this team looked like. And I don't know why I feel like some people just were overlooking the team with the euphoria of the Falcons game.
Oh, that was real. That happened. People got excited. People didn't realize that the Falcons could be that bad. And we looked pretty good.
It was also how they won. They didn't just beat Atlanta. They beat them by 22. So, or 26, whatever it was, 32-6.
And destroyed them up front, both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Destroyed them.
I agree, Ross. And then, injuries set in, and obviously, look, there's a lot that's gone wrong. Dallas is clearly superior. I mean, vastly superior. Warren, the season isn't over.
No.
Obviously, I feel low, but I'll tell you what, and Warren, appreciate the call. Ross, I said this before. I'll say it again. I remember in 2013, Chip's fourth game when the Eagles got completely destroyed by a Denver Broncos team in Denver week 4 to fall to 1-3. I mean, they lost by about 30 or more points. I mean, we remember in 2018 when the Eagles got destroyed versus the Saints 44-7. A couple weeks later, they found their way to the playoffs and actually won a playoff game. So I don't want people to think that last night proves that the Eagles season is doomed, because I don't believe that's the case yet. But it does put me back on my heels, Ross, in thinking that it's viable, that it's likely that the Eagles, will put a charge into this the way I was hoping. What are your thoughts on that, Ross? Kind of the big picture of what last night represents.
Yeah, so I thought after week 1, and to a little bit lesser extent, but still after week 2, I thought the Eagles still were an 8 or 9 win team, maybe on the high end 10, and would have a chance to compete for the division. That seems less likely now. If there is a saving grace, it's that Washington's a lot worse than I thought they would be.
Yep.
And the Giants are really bad again. So the Eagles still, I think, are probably the second best team in the division. But, there's a sizable gap between the Dallas Cowboys quarterback and the quarterbacks of the other 3 teams.
Yep.
And in general, that's hard to overcome. I know it's 53-man roster and, lots of other guys, but when one team has a top 5 quarterback and the other 3 have guys that aren't even top 20 quarterbacks, it's not very often that a team without a top 20 quarterback is higher in the standings than a team with a top 5 quarterback. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen much. It doesn't. Ross Tucker Football Podcast at Ross Tucker NFL. And Ross brought to us by First Trust Bank, official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. Ross, we look forward to talking to you next week. We appreciate it today, man.
Sounds great. See you guys.
All right.
Ross.
Coming up is Time's Yours. Joe Time's Yours should be something after last night. Joe DeCamera, John. James is giving me the yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, boy. All right, one of those Time's Yours that might have broken the machine. Time's Yours is next on WIP.
I'm Erin Ryan, political commentator, comedy writer, and host of Crooked Media's Hysteria.
And I'm co-host Alyssa Mastromonaco, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for President Obama.
Each week on Hysteria, we are joined by a team of hilariously opinionated ladies to discuss the headlines from the serious to the absurd.
We cover everything from reproductive rights to rom-coms and break down the political news of the week and cultural stories that affect women's lives.
New episodes of Hysteria drop every Thursday. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.